There's a reason you see that red equipment out on golf courses everywhere. It's not just because Toro makes great equipment, it's because they understand what happens at 4:30 in the morning. When the crew is heading out, the dew is heavy, the clock is ticking, and there's no more room for equipment that doesn't perform. Toro has been solving problems for golf course superintendents for generations, and they're not slowing down. From mowing and irrigation to autonomous technology and everything in between, Toro is always looking for a better way to get the job done. Toro, always solving, always evolving.
Yo, I'm out before the sunrise, first to hit the course ground. With a buggy full of tools before the first round. Gotta move the pins and brush the dew away. That's how I maintain that turf today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Turf Today, recorded on the Superintendent Network and brought to you by Toro. I'm Adam Kershane, and we've got a really fun one lined up for you guys today. I am joined in the studio by somebody a lot of you probably recognize from the Andersons, Tony Goldsby. Usually Tony is here doing a little Ask the Agronomist segment, but today we're going to switch it up a little bit. Before we get into the interview, we're going to get to know Tony and his background and how he got into the turf industry and what brought him to where he is today. And of course, we're going to put Tony to work with a little Ask the Agronomist question later in the episode. Tony and I are joined by Chad DeKorte, golf course superintendent at Canoa Ranch and Torres Blancas golf clubs. That's right, he's got two. Chad has a pretty interesting story going from Michigan to Arizona, and he's got some unbelievable stories from his career. We are also going to have to get to the bottom of why Chad is a world-famous golf course superintendent. Lots of great stuff, and we are not done there. At the end of the episode, we're bringing on Richard Milko to talk about his experience at Gillette Stadium for the FIFA World Cup. It sounds like that was something that was unbelievable. So we've got a little bit of everything today. Agronomy, golf course stories, career advice, and major event sports turf. It's going to be a lot of fun. Buckle in. Let's get right into this thing. Well, Tony, it's great having you on the show here today. I just wanted to give people a little bit more of a background of your career and what you do as an agronomist. I know we've talked a little bit throughout the episodes and obviously answered a lot of great questions from the community, but just wanted to give you a few minutes to talk about yourself and what you do and obviously the amazing company at the Andersons.
Yeah, no, always appreciate the opportunities, Adam, and obviously had a pretty interesting career, really, if you will. So I'm a second-generation horticulturist, so really always knew I was going to grow up in the green industry in some way, shape, or form. So when I attended K-State, started around 2002, really, I was going there to be a nursery management major and thought I was going to go there for 4 years and then move off to the Pacific Northwest and raise trees and live a happy life. And then quickly realized that with the amount of money that a nursery manager makes and living in the Pacific Northwest and having school loans, that was probably never going to really all pan out too well for myself. So I was really looking at school, obviously, and not a ton of funding from a research perspective on the ornamental horticulture side. So really turf was kind of that segue that allowed me there. So I was able to work on a master's degree, working on a fertilizer product that many of us know as Polyon today. So when it was first coming to market, a company called Purcell Industries, obviously did some work with them, both on Bermuda grass and tall fescue, and utilizing Purcell's slow release technology in a few ways that maybe we hadn't from an agronomic perspective before. So that was really my first dive, if you will, into the dark side that is in the turf world, or the light side, whichever one you want to call it. And then kind of just had the opportunity, obviously, to stay there, get my PhD as well, working on a variety of different turf topics. But at that same time, there's a little 13-acre research facility out at Rocky Ford, which is right outside of Manhattan, Kansas, and obviously where we do a lot of the work for the USGA, National Science Foundation, things like that, and had the opportunity to manage that facility while I was working on my PhD. So There's a lot of things obviously about, growing grass that you can learn from a book, but certainly not many that can be replicated the way it can be just growing grass. And obviously we don't deal with the traffic that you guys do, on courses out there, but we try to keep most of the greens and things like that as close as we can to what the real conditions would be when we're obviously doing those research studies out there. So no, that was a great, 3-4 years, and, obviously probably could have stayed there doing that forever, but, you gotta get on. And obviously thought I wanted to go be a PhD turfgrass professor, and had intended to go back to university, but, really from my perspective, always kind of tied and related best to those professors that I had that had kind of had that real world experience that they could draw off of. And, somewhat lacking that. And I always joke pretty much just going all the way to the 22nd grade and then not really having a outside of college, right? Maybe it doesn't make me feel like I can really kind of impart some of that wisdom, to the future generations the way I wanted to. So that was kind of the hop off point, if you will, for why I went back to industry around 2013, and really intended on going back to the university, and had a little stint in product management with a wholesale distributor, and did that till about 2018, and then had the opportunity to come over to the Andersons as the team's research agronomist. So really working on new product development, any of our university cooperator type studies that we do for new products, and have stayed obviously in that capacity here, as well as obviously taken on a role as the sales director for the professional business as well. So no, it's been an awesome career. I mean, the Andersons, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, really at its heart and basis is a grain trading ethanol company, and we obviously do have fertilizer assets as well too, and our turf business that specifically focuses on our wholesale distributors that sell into the golf course and lawn care markets. Is certainly a very key and all that small part of our business. It's one of the original parts of the business when it was started in the mid 1900s. So, rooted obviously in agriculture, but we always say, right, really always on the front end of trying to take technologies like our dispersing granule technology, which was kind of our probably flagship with our Contact fertilizer line, and just continuing to try to find new and innovative ways to help make superintendents be able to do their job at the high level that they have to do every week. So it's a great company, obviously, being able to, support not only from a product development perspective, new innovations, but obviously just trying to give back wherever we can, to the, the people that really, in my opinion, again, have the toughest job. We just talked to one for a long time, right? On this podcast. What I do is, it just pales in comparison to the difficulty of, the hours that a golf course superintendent puts in, and what they have to do week in and week out there. So it's pretty honoring and humbling a lot of times to be able to work in an area where we can create solutions that hopefully make that job a little bit easier for them, and ultimately make it so they can spend more time at home with their family and maybe a little bit less time on the golf course, trying to make it look as amazing as it is. So I always joke that I don't know exactly what I'm going to be when I grow up, but I know it's going to be in the green industry. And certainly love the turf side of it, obviously, and what we do with the Andersons, but certainly getting to connect with customers and on this show is really what I enjoy most about my job and what we get to do. So I know a lot of them are product questions that come in, but we're always looking for great other topics that you guys want to learn more about, and love obviously the science of turf management, and how can we break that down, and maybe bring some knowledge or some topics to shows like Turf Today that maybe people wouldn't usually get from that type of avenue. So no, it's certainly an honor to be able to do what I do every day, and obviously have a great team of sales professionals that are out there in the field working with the end users far more than I get to at this point in time. But certainly always appreciate the feedback on our products. And if you don't follow us on social media, please, we'd love you to make a chance to. Or we also have a monthly newsletter called Cut Above that certainly you could subscribe for, and going to be the end all be all for any innovations that are going on here at the Andersons, or any programs that we have going on. And always want to connect on social, whether it be for product feedback, product testing, or just, that's where a good majority of the best ideas come from, right? Is from folks like yourself, Adam, that are out there doing it every day. And and help give us some feedback on kind of where the puck's going, if you will.
Yeah, well, you guys, I think you're in a perfect spot because you get to do what you love and then you work for a fantastic company. Everybody I've ever dealt with at the Andersons has been very easy to work with and very professional, which I really appreciate because our industry is a very professional industry, but it can be very, very busy sometimes and, hard to get people on the phone or hard to get something nailed down. And everything that's come from the Andersons has been quick and professional and easy to deal with. And everybody that I've met over there has been awesome. So is there anything new and exciting or anything you wanted to share with us about the Andersons right now? I know you mentioned the cut above, which we had as a part of the giveaway, and people were messaging me saying, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was a thing. This is great. Like, I'm going to follow this now all the time. So is there anything else kind of like that you guys have going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. And again, shout out to, Annie Peer and Hunter Moore in our marketing department. They do, fantastic job of, and really that whole team of making sure that they're getting content out there that's relevant to the customers. And again, if there's something you love, you don't love, or you'd love to see, right, they're all about feedback, and we're all about trying to improve that as best as we can to get more viewership. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the cutting edge, if you will, right, of what's coming up. We obviously have, the golf show right around the corner, and I know we have a couple innovations potentially in the hoppers. So looking forward to, maybe talk a little bit more of those as they get a little bit closer. But yeah, always something going on. And like we said, if there's ever a topic out there for you, listeners that you're interested in, or again, a problem that you're interested in, trying to solve, that's the type of stuff we love to hear about. And, that's the stuff that gets me fired up for sure every day.
Beautiful, Tony. Love it. Well, it's awesome you're here. And without further ado, everybody, here is Chad DeKorte. Chad, just giving us a little bit of a background of getting into this industry and sort of your career up till now.
Grew up in small town, northern Michigan. Started with the junior golf program there at 7 years old. Did the whole junior Michigan PGA Power Built Tour thing around the state. Wasn't that great, to get to college and all the scholarships, but that's what got me into the love of the game. And I thought, well, what's the best way to keep golfing for free is to, get on a grounds crew. So I started raking bunkers and playing golf afterwards. So kept loving that. So eventually that brought me to Michigan State, I went with a 2-year turf certificate there. And then that brought me to California and some other golf courses out there, and eventually here in Tucson, Arizona.
Awesome. Sounds like a lot of fun. So take us back to Bay Harbor. That was the first course you worked at. Any memories or any fun stories from kind of getting into work there?
Well, it was an old, they built it out of an old quarry, which, if you look at the pictures before and after somehow, but eventually I think they had this wonderful World of Golf shell oil, whatever, put on that thing a long time ago. So Phil and Tiger were there back in 96, I think it was, but I didn't join on the crew till like 98, 99. So I was just raking bunkers, mowing tees, getting through summers at college and things like that. So I didn't put I did put a mower in a bunker. So I did flip a Sidewinder one time. So,
Nice.
but beautiful views, gorgeous, try to get up to northern Michigan sometime. But yeah, beautiful golf in Michigan.
I'm curious, Chad, just maybe talk a little bit about that transition from obviously Michigan, really probably a lot of bent grass, Kentucky bluegrass. Don't see that in Tucson, at least not actually actively growing. So kind of curious, just about obviously, kind of how that transition was for you. Maybe I'm certain, like all of us, you're still learning more and more every day, but curious kind of how that went. And you definitely went from two polar ends of the management spectrum for sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, Bay Harbor, it's pretty much all bent grass tees, fairways, greens, everything. So you definitely go from seeing a lot of disease and using a lot of fungicides to out here in Arizona, the climate's a lot drier. But the courses I work at here, I take care of 2 courses, Canoa Ranch and Torres Blancas. Very old 328 Bermuda greens at Torres Blancas, and I have POA bent grass greens over at Canoa. So, and then those greens are getting kind of invaded with some 328. So it's a huge challenge managing both of those turf types in Arizona. But we're, like I said, we're lucky to even have grass out here with, the limited water sources and things like that. So we're always, trying to be conserving water and think of more creative ways to not overwater.
That's awesome. I think, anything you guys can do, obviously, to help give yourself a leg up with Bermuda grass versus obviously the challenges you have with POA, I'm sure is certainly welcome to you and the crew.
Yeah. I mean, if you can figure out how to find or hybridize some sort of Bermuda grass for me that, I can mow it like 0.95 and, disease free, doesn't scalp, stays green all year. That'd be perfect.
That'd be nice. Yeah. We just unfortunately never see perfect on the golf course. We're always striving for it, but it's never there. So talk to us about some more of the challenges you guys face in the desert, because it's a very interesting place for growing grass and hosting people who play golf.
Oh, yeah. Well, we get a lot of snowbirds. So it's you get a lot of people coming from the Midwest who expect a lot of that, where I grew up, perfectly green and those playing conditions. But everyone that comes out here in the summertime when it's 110, 105, we're just trying to get the Bermuda grass growing to then overseed then in September, October. So it's just this cycle of, killing the ryegrass, growing the Bermuda grass, back and forth. So right now we're about a couple weeks away to throwing seed at one course. And we're just getting ready for that, throwing out pre-emergence, throwing out fertilizers just to get the seed to take, in a couple weeks. So, but it's challenging. I think it's funny because our busy season is actually maintenance wise is the summertime, because we're just we're killing the ryegrass. We're transitioning over to Bermuda. And then ever since we get the ryegrass down in October, maintenance team's chilling. We're just mowing, fertilizing, and that's when all the golfers come in from Canada and the Midwest, and it's all green. So if we're green, we're good.
Chad, curious, obviously when you were going to school, probably never thought you'd have a day where you were planting, ryegrass and then trying to kill it out subsequently the following. Probably was never in your mind. And again, I spent some time in that Arizona golf market, just, realizing how big of a part of it is. Just could you kind of maybe talk through for some of the listeners, especially in the northern parts that don't deal with overseed, kind of what that entails from a crew perspective, and probably not the time you're used to having to have all hands on deck if you've been up in the northern tiers most of your career.
Yeah, well, I'm no expert. There's a million ways to skin a cat. So if I say something here, I'm sure I'll get, the experts out of the woodwork.
Well, we got an agronomist right here. So
yeah. Okay, well, good. You can just let me know. So the way we do it, and for people listening, when you're coming out here to visit, and typically I wouldn't come here until October, November, the weather starts to really get better. But people don't understand, the different turf types. They see grass, it's green. They're like, oh, what's Bermuda grass? What's bent grass? What's POA? What's POA triv? So the courses I'm at, pretty old. We don't have, they haven't been rebuilt. There's a lot of deferred maintenance that, we kind of walked into. So, we don't have the nice hybrid TIF dwarf, ultra dwarfs. The leaf blades they almost mimic the bent grass. So we have a lot of, on our greens at least, the Bermuda greens, the leaf blades coarse, and it's hard to get them sped up to that 10, 11, 12 speed that people are coming from, back in the Midwest and the East Coast, or they see it on TV. Like, hey man, they have bent grass or Bermuda grass over at the FedEx Championship. You have Bermuda grass here. Like, well, it's, then you get into some agronomy with them, and it's like, well, the different types of Bermuda grass and, taking care of it, the verticutting. So you got a verticut, which is getting into the thatch a little bit and then thinning the leaf blade out. That's helped speed things up a little bit. But again, we have such a coarse Bermuda grass on our greens here that it's only a couple months out of the summer. So we tell people, hey, if you can just deal with some slower greens, hey, at least they're true, they're smooth. Wait for overseed. Once that POA triv gets in there, that'll smooth things out. So, sorry, yeah, we could keep going, and I don't know how much to talk about, but it's a big process. So.
Perfect. No, that's a great answer. Obviously, a lot that goes into educating not only the clientele that are coming by, but any local folks, and then obviously if you're answering to a board of any sort. So that's education's a big piece of it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a board. It's kind of a public semi-private course here, so it's kind of nice not having to deal with a board. But I do like to get out and talk to the members and golfers that come by. They're always asking questions, and they feel a lot better when you're kind of educating them a little bit, like, hey, why is your other course over there faster and this is slower. And, you kind of have to go through the process, and it's kind of a good feeling to be heard. Cause you probably had guys on here, we're the silent, heroes out here. No one really, no one gives these guys a thank you, very much. So it's good to have, that communication with some people out there. And, but going back to, the whole transition with the different grasses, you spend $60,000 on ryegrass and then you kill it in April.
Chemicals too, right?
And, yeah. And so people understand that. Why don't you just keep it year round? Well, then there's the whole issue with water. So
sure.
I'm in Pima County, and I think we get correct me if I'm wrong out there, but I think we get the water probably a lot of aquifers, but we get it from the Colorado River. I think that's kind of an issue in the state at the moment, but we have a well at one course, so we don't pay really much for that golf course, for that water bill. But this Canoa Ranch where I'm at here, we're a couple $100,000 a year in water. So, we could keep the ryegrass year round, but we'd definitely be going through the water quite a bit. So, and then, like you said, if you don't kill your ryegrass out, you kind of destroy your Bermuda base right underneath, and so you don't have that good base of Bermuda grass to then put the seed in when you do overseed. So, and we don't have a very big budget for sod. So some courses just sod those bare spots out. And we're lucky enough though that we've got a good base. We just kind of naturally transition, throw some chemical out to kill the grass, but kind of let Mother Nature do its thing. And when it rains, monsoons come and we get some free nitrogen out of that and we're ready to go.
If you're a golf course superintendent, assistant superintendent, director of agronomy, or industry leader, listen up. Bloom Golf Partners is bringing together the best in the business for the Leadership on the Links Summit, October 12th in State College, Pennsylvania. It's a full day focused on leadership, team building, career development, and real-world conversations with some of the industry's top leaders. You'll hear from incredible keynote speakers, connect with fellow turf professionals, and walk away with ideas you can actually bring back to your team. Seats are limited, so head to bloomgolfpartners.com/summit and reserve your spot today. Now let's get you guys back to the show. Chad is talking about working 36 holes.
Yes, so I take care of 30. So there's 36 holes. Yeah, so this is my office at Canoa, and then about 3-4 miles down the road, I got the other golf course. So, I got my hands full, man.
I'd say so. Two different courses, 3 or 4 miles away from each other. Geez. So how do you balance that with your crew? Do you have two different kind of leads at both courses, or is it one crew that does it all? And how does that work?
Well, I am blessed with two very good assistants who, they did. And this is the thing. I went to school to be an assistant or to be a superintendent. These guys here, they just kind of, they didn't go to school. They're hands-on, they're full-on experience, and they've been doing this 10 years or more. And I trust them with my life, the grass, obviously. And so I got two really good assistants that manage each course independently. So I got 14 guys between the two courses. So a lot of guys are like, that's what I got for one course. So, I mean, we definitely need to have more guys, but like I said, we're in just a situation where we're at that, and I'm comfortable with it. I've always done a lot with little. So, give me some duct tape and a paper clip like MacGyver and, we'll get it done. There's never I never was at a course where, hey, we got money, just throw money at it. It's like, hey, we got to figure it out, and we're tying things together. And so with 14 guys to be able to do what we do, a lot of people are just blown away that the shape the course is in and with the resources we have. So yeah, it's a challenge, but it's comfortable. I've never really had like so many guys to, just go do all those details and have enough money for fungicide. We have fungicide money, but you got to look around for maybe the generics or things like that, because we just don't have the big funds other courses have. But one mechanic for 36 holes is a stretch for that guy. So he's busy. I don't know if I should touch on it, but we were just bought out by a group, Walden Golf LLC, Walden Golf Group. They purchased 3 courses up in Phoenix this last month. So they bought us back in February, and that's been good. We've been able to do a lot more just in that 4 or 5 months. Some bunker renovation projects. I know we kind of touched on that, and get some new equipment in here. So we're just excited for anything.
Well, Chad, I definitely think really have to have a tight-knit group, great culture to be able to run a ship like you guys are, 2 ships like you guys are with 14 people. Can you maybe hit a little bit on what you feel like the secret sauce is to kind of keep that group obviously working more with less and, really loving and enjoying and coming in what they're doing every single day?
Carne asada. Let me just tell you, these guys, like you have to have every so often, like we kind of kept it to like, okay, big events, aerification, oversee, but dude, if we can do it once a month, carne asada, get them together. Since I've been here almost 9 years, that's for me, that's kind of our sauce. It's, we're a big family here. Everyone lives close by. I don't, unfortunately, but so carne asadas for those out there, treat your crews good, take care of them. Food goes a long way. So
I love that. Yeah, I'm a man that directly my heart comes through my stomach, so I can definitely relate to that, and I'm sure the crew does as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's the quickest news that ever travels through the turf staff is when you find out you're having a pizza lunch or you're having a staff lunch. It's just like right around the golf course immediately. People are pumped for that. So yeah, it's funny. Just a little bit of food keeps everybody on the same page and happy. That's awesome.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I love talking to different people from different areas and asking them about wildlife, because we all have different, this morning we were out chasing a bear on the course, a black bear on the course. So it's obviously something you wouldn't deal with down there, but you guys must have your own interesting encounters.
Oh yeah. So Southern Arizona, there's a lot of elk up in the mountains. We get a lot of mule deer that kind of come by from time to time. Javelinas, obviously, which I'd always thought for the longest time they're, from the rat family, but I guess they're not. They're, I guess, piccaries or something like. I'm gonna botch the name, but it's a whole different thing. Anyway, javelinas are everywhere. They're funny looking, warthog looking things. Obviously rattlesnakes and bobcats, mountain lions, coyotes, all sorts of wildlife. So turkeys, wild turkeys from time to time. Yeah, man, we got it all. It's beautiful down here. So people ever get the chance to come down, it's Green Valley is south of Tucson, so it's pretty much somewhere between Tucson and the border of Mexico. So we're pretty out there, but I like it. So love the wildlife.
Can you turn javelina into carne asada? Is that possible, or is this been
Ooh.
Yeah, I think some of the guys have. I haven't done it here on the course, but I do believe you can. I know it's got a weird, tough taste to it. They've said. I don't know, dude. I'm gonna avoid that one. But
okay. Do you have members that have interactions with them? Because I know I've been on a couple, and they seem to really love the greens. I know on a few courses in Phoenix when I've been around them, there's always seems to be one that shows up somewhere along the way.
Yeah, so they typically are pretty docile, but you got the when they have the little babies with them, they get a little more aggressive. So I've tried to drive up to them, and they kind of charge at you a little bit, and they got some have those little tusk things, and you gotta be careful. But I've had some issues on my greens because, if you miss your insecticide window, you get some grub activity. They love, digging in there, getting those grubs. So, they're not too friendly for the most part, but you'll see them just kind of hanging around and,
Awesome.
Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago, it was M. Casey. I think she was working at Seven Canyons. I'm going to forget where that is now in Arizona. And they had that world famous video of the javelina damage on the golf course. It was like Sports Center shared it, and all these Barstool shared it. It was very, very famous. So it's something that can happen pretty quickly, especially if there's a lot of them, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you guys have dealt with a little bit of animal damage, but you've also dealt with some damage from vehicles as well. Talk to us about that.
Oh man, yeah. I guess people, really want to get out here and golf. They miss their tee time, and they just, start crashing into the course. So I've kind of held off on posting some of that stuff. I know some people, again, I don't, the whole posting things, social media thing. I'm new to it. So, but yeah, there's been some car chases. One truck went flying through the intersection up to the front entrance. One guy, I think, had a little too much to drink, and he just kind of drifted off toward the first tee. And then another guy we found in the wash, just kind of, we don't know how the guy got his car down there, but it's this really nice, Lincoln sedan, and it's just hanging off the cart path into the ditch. And So we don't get a lot of kids, doing, the e-bikes and things like that around the course, which is good. But yeah, from time to time, we got a lot of activity, whether it's, some illegals or because we're close to the border. So we get a lot of trafficking type stuff through. Border Patrol is always kind of zipping in and out of the course. Sometimes helicopters. I got to find that video. There's a helicopter finding the whole bunch of guys crossing the border, but
right onto the golf course. They had it all figured out, mapped out, just go right across the golf course. We'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, there's a water supply right by the bathroom. So, I mean, we found a whole stash of backpacks and food and maps and, electronics and stuff. And it's just more like a little waypoint, like guys cross over. Okay, we're going to stop at Canoa Ranch, get some water, change our clothes, brush our teeth, and then, off to Phoenix or wherever they go. But, yeah, never a dull moment, man. It's always something new.
Back on the people side of it, Chad, just kind of curious, obviously what's maybe one of the biggest lessons that you could share with us that you've learned from obviously managing folks, probably, having a turf degree myself, right? That maybe is one of the things that we don't spend as much time going over in school. And, obviously you spend a lot of it figuring it out all as you go along. So love to hear some of maybe your leadership principles and kind of how you approach the management piece. Yeah,
they definitely don't teach you in school how to deal with 15 different personalities. I didn't feel, at least they didn't prepare you for that. They have some classes, and budgeting and, hiring, that kind of thing. But I guess learning the hard way, as an assistant, you kind of get your fiery and, I've been in some arguments and confrontations with employees and some of the words of wisdom my superintendents have told me in the past is speed kills. Never going to forget that, whether that's with trying to fill up your spray tank with something and, or dealing with an employee. Listening is the biggest thing. Don't ever assume, who left this out or who didn't know that, or, you ask questions, and the way you come off, the tone that you use, and just asking questions to different people really goes a long way. I got 3 kids. So it's like, you ask one kid, hey, you take the trash out, you ask the other kid, they just respond differently. So it's a big bunch. Not to sound, I'm not being degrading, but it's just a bunch of kids. Sometimes you're working with a bunch of children, and it's like, I don't know why that is, but maybe some superintendents can relate to that. It's like, we're all adults here, but sometimes we can act a little childish, even myself. And, but just being humble, I always tell my assistants, look, yeah, I've gone to school, I've got the degrees, but, being humble about, hey, how should we aerify? How should we, what about this process? And that's, for me, they've saved my butt a million times by just, hey, what do you think? So just being humble enough to look, you got the degrees and they don't, but man, they've been here. They know the layout. They know maybe what works, what doesn't work in this little climate. And maybe it works up in Phoenix, but not in Tucson. So just being willing to kind of eat your humble pie, I guess you could say, and just best idea wins. I mean, is it going to save us more time? Is it going to give us the right desired effect? Then, let's do it your way. So that's how I feel like I've led my crews here, is just, what do you think? Okay. And sometimes you got to step in and redirect, but for the most part, they learn real quick too. If they suggest something, say, hey, boss, let's do it this way. All right, we'll do it your way. And then it turns out to, not be so great. They see that themselves, and they kind of can, you get more respect that way, because they can see that you let them kind of lead a little bit. Some guys want to lead more than others, which also can help with promoting them to that position that they wanted, or get them that extra, little raise. So yeah, just because we, went to Michigan State or wherever we went doesn't mean you know everything. And so that's really helped me succeed here.
And we were all that 18-year-old kid at one point, right? 17-year-old kid starting to work, not following the rules, doing what you want. Like, we've all gone through it. So understanding that that's the point in their life, and they're going through it, and trying to coach them through it as best you can, I think that's a smart plan.
Yeah. And, I know I've been with some superintendents that get right in your face and yelling at you. And, I've been told I'm too nice. I'm kind of a nice guy. That maybe can bite you in the butt a little. I don't know. I'm still here. So, but I've just, that's also one way. I don't yell and scream at people. And I'm sure other superintendents will chime in like, no, you gotta, lay the law down, dude. Be firm. Like, yeah, you gotta be firm. But I think there's there's a very fine line, and maybe the old school superintendent ways with a lot of older guys that kind of came up in the ranks with. When there's no HR department, anything goes, and you're just like, holy crap, man, that can't do that now. I mean, you'd never get away with that. So there's a lot of things that you just got to be careful the way you word things. But like I said, the carne asada is treating guys right. Listening to them. I think any superintendent will, extend the life at their facility that way. So, yeah.
Yeah. Catch more flies with honey, as they say, right?
100%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I like that old school, like professional coach, old school mentality of yelling at your players. I think that's kind of gone now, right? You can't really do that anymore. So being able to have relationships and talk to everybody in their own way while also, maintaining that you're the boss, that's a challenge. So something that takes some time, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we were talking about other superintendents, and this is something I glossed over a little bit earlier, but I'd love to know kind of your motivation or what it was for you that made you say, I want to be a superintendent. I want to take care of my own golf course and kind of go after this dream.
Oh boy, so that's a loaded question.
It was just free golf, and it just took you all the way.
Basically, I mean, at first, yeah. I mean, honestly, I probably didn't want to be a superintendent for the longest time, and I was an assistant for 10 plus years. When I would see all the guys in my class posting about, it's my superintendent first job, and their superintendent promoted them, and it took me a long time. So I think having a family, having those 3 kids, probably motivated me more to kind of get going, and hey, I should probably become a superintendent. So I don't think I could point to one guy, one superintendent or professor or something that said something profound to me. It's free golf and guys having kids. It's like, hey, you got to stop being if you want to make some more money, being the assistants. Back then it was like, look, you need to make the jump. So just making that first jump. Then my first job was with at Knollwood Country Club out in Granada Hills, north of LA. That was my first gig. But yeah, that was all hands on, man. I was cutting cups, spraying greens. So I'm going into the next thing here, but like that golf course, man. I mean, if anyone knows Knollwood, I don't know if they still do this, but they start 4:00 in the morning. Crew starts at 3:30, and they have glow balls. I mean, they got guys just lining up in the dark with a glow ball, and
wow.
That was my first intro to being a superintendent. That kind of rocked my world a little bit, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah, going to work for 2:30 every day. Jeez, that's rough.
Yeah, that was. And then having 2-3 kids, at the same time, you're just like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. So that made me rethink this whole thing. And that was back in 2016, and I was maybe thinking about jumping ship by the industry, and had a brief stint up at Scottsdale, working for the sports complex right there by TPC. I was there for about 6 months. And then after that, I was like, I need to get back into golf, because working for the city just wasn't, I thought it was going to be great having a pension. And dude, I was sitting there just, I can't do this. I need to be doing something. So anyway, that's what got me back into the superintendent role down here back in 2018. So been here ever since.
Yeah, well, and again, there's a lot of good golf up in Michigan in that area, so I could see the attraction for sure for starting in that area. Sure. I am curious. I mean, Adam has brought me into a lot of scenarios before, and we've talked about a lot of different folks and a lot of different things, but I'm not sure I've ever had the honor of interviewing a world famous superintendent. So I am a little curious. What? Yes, and yeah, what steamed on it came from. If you could share a little bit more with us on that, Chad.
Well, we're not there yet. We're almost there. Maybe Tucson famous, but no. Dude, so I literally started social media like back in May. I've never done it. I tried it, getting on Facebook or a couple years ago, whatever, but never did anything with social media. So that whole just trying to be funny, but also maybe kind of serious. So I mean, it'd be kind of cool one day to be out there. But no, I've just been trying to grow that Instagram thing for the golf course. The Canoa Ranch, Torres, Blancas. We're trying to really put our name out there, and get more golfers out here. It's just like a gem right out in the desert. You can compare it to, Desert Mountain. It's way up there. No one really It's outside of Scottsdale, which I did work there for about 3 months before my superintendent job. It's weird. Got to keep that off the resume sometimes, but good crew up there. I mean, 6 courses up in Desert Mountain, but I'm not comparing us to Desert Mountain, but in the way that we're out there just kind of off the beaten path. And, if people can come down here and get the views of the mountains, and it is cooler. I think the elevation is up over 3,000 feet. So it's a little cooler than Tucson. So if Tucson's 100, we're usually 90, 92. But yeah, I'm definitely not world famous. So that's obviously more of a joke than anything. But, I'm sure hopefully maybe get some more followers. I'm not trying to get any, I'm just doing this to kind of showcase almost like your resume now, right? And everything. But when I was interviewing back in the day, you had that one piece of paper, and now guys are kind of like doing this whole social media thing to kind of showcase, here's the projects we've done, here's how we do it. That's kind of how I wanted to start this whole Instagram thing was, hey, here's what I'm doing here. I'll take some criticism. I'll take some whatever you got, like even that. Hey, what do I use for goosegrass? I mean, I got, crazy goosegrass this year, and dude, I've been putting pre-emergence out for 8 years, never any goosegrass on my greens, and this year we got it. So, but it's good hearing from the turf community. Hey, try this. If you tried that, hey, those greens are shit, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I'm not really tech social savvy. I know a lot of people, these content creators and things. I definitely just want to just have some fun doing it. And dude, if I get followers, great. If not, who cares? I can't believe this is happening right now, dude. Like, I just like the golf bag and this podcast, and I was like, holy crap, man. Like, I just
You're on a roll, man.
My mind, man.
Yeah, you're having a week.
Dude, like this guy, my friend Justin Ennis, he's the AZ Lawn Dad. I don't know if you heard of him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Because I'm like, dude, I'm going to mention your name, help you out. But he got me in. He did that interview with me back in January about just getting to know superintendents and what we do. And then after that, I started my Instagram, and I was like, hey man, help me out, help me do this, and just posting these videos. And so he's been kind of like helping me a little bit along the way, and probably should start paying him for that now because, like, hey, how do I post this? What are my hashtags? What do I do? So anyway, so Justin's been a pretty good friend. I got him out golfing at El Camino Country Club, which was the first assistant position I had out in Oceanside, California. Beautiful golf course. Miss it out there. So, but yeah, it's just cool seeing the golf, like seeing, all the places I've worked, and they have Instagrams now. Like, oh man, I used to work at Marbella Country Club up the coast in San Luis Capistrano. Used to work at El Camino. Used to, all these, and then getting in touch with the superintendents, and that too. I mean, sorry, I'm like rambling, but
no, you're good.
But like,
You're
it's
good.
it's a cool community. Like the people say to network, but the superintendent community is such a tight knit community. But you have to kind of get out there, and that's what I'm saying. That could be the death of, I think, of a superintendent is staying isolated, staying in my office, not asking the guy down the road, hey, can you come look at this? Well, I got something going on. What do you think? Which I've helped. Have superintendents help me this last week, even look at my greens. Hey man, you got Bermuda greens over at your place, and you're across the street. What about mine? And he's got the Ultra Dwarf, and I've got the 328. So, okay, we might roll a little differently. So, but yeah, it's just cool to have this community of superintendents and other guys in the industry that they want to help. They want to see each other succeed. And so this whole thing is so surreal to me, dude. Like, I can't believe I'm here. It's awesome.
Yeah. So Justin was the reason that I first got introduced to you. Like, I followed him for years. We've shared some of his stuff. And when he did that interview, I thought it was so cool that he kind of crossed over into golf course maintenance and highlighting what, we're essentially doing, right? And so then when I was messaging with everybody from the Andersons, they said, well, we just did our draw and we picked Chad. And I was like, this is perfect, because I think we can get Tony on the show for next week. We can get Chad. He's got the winning bag. Like, this is perfect. We'll just line it all up for the same day. And usually when you're doing podcasting, you can plan all you want, but it all comes together in the last couple of days leading up to it. Like, it's getting people all in the same schedule sometimes can be really, really hard. So we appreciate you doing it. And I think it's great that, you were our bag winner, the Anderson's Turf Today bag. So hopefully you get that down there soon, because you are a golfer and you'll get to use it. So that's perfect.
Well, the next thing I need is some clubs, man. Because I mean, I got I got some old Callaways. I miss my Titleist DCIs. Used to have those kicking around back in the early 2000s. I know, man. Anyway, so.
You have said you have 3 kids. Do they come out on the course with you? You bring them out to work or play?
I have a couple times, they're getting older. So it's like one's 15, my daughter's 13, my youngest is 10. And, obviously with teenagers, it's like, it doesn't, I don't know. I'm trying to get them out here, but it's like, they're obviously what teenagers are into. They're probably on their phones and with their friends. And so, they've piqued a little interest, but I don't know. Something I'd like to get them out here more. They do want to kind of come out. Like I bring them for overseed, which is fun. So they get sodas and they get the fountain, the all free burgers or whatever. I bring them out and the course is closed and they get to just kind of run through, give them a golf cart. They'll drive my golf carts. They haven't crashed them yet. So,
nice.
There
you go.
But that's what they love. They love getting out in the golf carts and just kind of driving around. So I'll do that in a couple of weeks. Try to get them out. Got my dog too. I bring him out sometimes, which is fun. So I've never had a superintendent dog. I had a dog, but the previous management, we just haven't had him. So this guy or the new company's like, yeah, man, bring it. So trying to get him on the dog calendar. I'm trying to get hose the right way, dude. Like, come on, I need a good shot of you for this calendar. So I'll try to work on that. That'll probably be my next goal is to kind of get GCM or one of these places, Golfdom or whatever, to get Thor on the calendar somehow. So that's my next endeavor. But yeah. Oh, dude, Thor's awesome. Yeah. So, but yeah, dude. He loves chasing rabbits, man. We got a lot of jackrabbits. So, dude, you remember? Cool. This might date me a little bit, but when you remember America's Funniest Home Videos?
Oh yeah.
Bob Saget, and they had the jackalope. It was this rabbit with like antlers. It was a stupid like made up thing. Anyway, we got these actual jackrabbits that reminded me of the jackalope with like the horns and everything. But anyway, these are huge rabbits, dude, like 3 times the size of like a native bunny or whatever. And those suckers, they're fast. So I forgot. Those are other wildlife that we have here too. But these, I don't know, man, random thought, just like the jackalope, crazy, stupid bunny, look it up. And then the jackrabbits. So anyway, but
any issues they cause on the course or just mainly just sprinting around from place to place?
No, they don't do any damage or anything like that. So my dog does. He'll be digging in the sand traps after the guys will be raking them. And I'm like, dude, like, just, hey, I don't know. He's a playful, he loves it. It's funny. It's comical, but no damage, by those rabbits or my dog. So
hey, every superintendent knows that changing a hole location sounds simple until you're standing on the green at 5 o'clock in the morning with a hole cutter in your hands. That's why Standard Golf has been setting the standard for golf course equipment for more than 100 years. Their line of hole cutters and replacement shells is built for the daily demands of golf course maintenance, with options designed for precision, durability, and that consistent performance we are always looking for. From the greens to the rest of the course, Standard Golf has the tools superintendents can count on. Check them all out at standardgolf.com. Setting the standard since 1910.
When I was at Knollwood, the show Storage Wars came out. So Ivy, he came out, and at the time they needed an expert for whatever. They found this old cup cutter from like the 1800s or something. So Ivy comes out and they shoot an episode of Storage Wars at Knollwood with me as the expert. So I was like, dude, this is awesome. I'm on TV. So I got to do that.
The famous superintendent started.
Yes. Yes. Because I was so. It's crazy. I can't believe how many times I've been on TV, and this is probably, I'll put that up there too. This is pretty close. So Storage Wars, when I was married back in Oceanside, we got on Animal Planet. We had a bad dog edition. So we had a dog that just ripped up the house and toilet paper and crap. So we got on Animal Planet out, in California. We went to Let's Make a Deal. So I got on Let's Make a Deal, met Wayne Brady,
Would you actually go up there? You were one of the guys?
Yeah, I got up there. Yeah, I got some.
What'd you get dressed as?
I think I have. So police officer. My wife at the time, we're divorced, but my ex at the time, she was the robber. She had like the striped white, black and white shirt. And I was the police officer, hat, badge, police, whatever. Dude, I got called up. I sat there next to him, and I missed out on a $10,000 cruise to Jamaica.
Did you get zonked or what?
I didn't get zonked. I took the deal. I was like, I'm thinking, I'm smarter than the game. You get up there in the moment. You're I'm gonna fool everybody. But I made like $1,500. We went home with some money, but definitely missed out on the big prize. So yeah, Animal Planet, Let's Make a Deal, and then Storage Wars. So everyone's like, dude, how many times you been on TV? And then this podcast thing. So it's like, hey, I don't know, man. So
just
the world famous.
I
guess I got to live up to it somehow.
Curious, we kind of mentioned at the beginning, I know you're doing a few different, just finished up, I think, a bunker renovation, Chad. So anything you maybe want to share with, kind of why you guys did that, kind of how the process worked and, how things are looking so far.
Oh, dude. So the story, I guess, behind the bunkers at Canoa Ranch, for anyone listening that's played the course, it was built in 2003, 2002, that era. And I think at the time, the shapes that these bunkers have are these really nice sweeping sand faces, right? And I guess over time, neglects, resources, they just kind of went by the wayside. So basically, those bunker faces started to have rocks come out. And so basically we were just rocks in our bunkers. People hated them. It was awful. I mean, just since I've been here, we've been trying to figure out a way to just, let's add some more sand to them. Well, rocks keep coming out. So since Walden came on and we're like, hey, we're going to tell me what you need. What can we do? So short of getting some bids from other landscape company architects and things like that, $500,000, $1 million or more to like, hey, we're going to come in and, renovate, reshape and do everything, Billy bunker, all this stuff. Right. We're like, hey, you know what? I think my crew, we can do this. So got some numbers together, came up with an idea to kind of eliminate that bunker face. So we added dirt to the face and kind of rounded that edge. Can't remember what golf course I was comparing it to, but there's some out in the East Coast that have that really nice green face that rolls down in, and you just have a flat bunker, just a flat pot bunker. So that was kind of the idea we went with. So we were able to started in June. So 3 months. We only did about 5 to 6 bunkers, but that's with 4 guys. With 4 guys, one 30-year-old backhoe. Man, I wish you could throw some pictures up there somehow I have some before and afters, but it's incredible. And we got this white sand, which I was corrected online by somebody. Hey, it's not Augusta white. Augusta comes from Quarry out in North Carolina, so it's not Augusta white sand. But out here we have a quartz mine, and they crush up quartz.
Okay.
It's a really fine. It's like sand. It drains real well.
I was going to say, which is what they use at Augusta. It's quartz.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have a sieve or any analysis to compare the two, but people here love it, dude. Compared to rocks and mud,
and it's a big change
to what it is. It's amazing. So just in the 6 or 7 bunkers that we did, everyone's really happy with it. Gosh, I think we only spent like $27,000 total to just that sod and sand. I'm not really counting the labor because we're already kind of here, but $30,000 to fix 6 or 7 greenside bunkers. And then we're going to also sod over the fairway bunkers. So kind of make a nice fairway grass bunker, keep it that shape so we don't really affect the slope or course rating too much, keep it challenging still. But people here love it. It's pace of play. It aesthetically looks nice. So I don't know if we're ever going to be, a championship golf course. It's for the people we have here. It's enjoyable. The views, it's just a nice, enjoyable course. But yeah, dude, the bunker project, man, I wish we could do more. We just need more guys. We've been able to hire a couple more people this last month, but my plan is, so when we close for overseed for 3 weeks, September 14, my plan is to get 3 truckloads, 37 pallets of sod, and try to do about 12 pallets every delivery and just sod over as many fairway bunkers that we can so people can come back and say, hey, that looks different. That looks great. So that's kind of the plan. And then next year we'll just try to hit some more. but that's kind of what our main project is. And the other projects, spoiler, we're probably going to get really excited about this. We're going to get a TrackMan or Top Tracer type driving range thing going on, which is hopefully going to bring a ton of people to the area. We have a great, almost 5 acre, game changer, 5 acres of turf. Well, not turf yet, but 5 acres of driving range. Beautiful T-top. We're like, dude, we can get how many bays in here, cover it, mist it, have some, have a bar, have some, just have a good time. I think there's a place up in Phoenix, greens clippings, is it? Or
grass clippings.
A couple different grass clippings.
Yeah. Have you been?
I haven't been. I'd love to.
That's a trip to make.
I'd love to get up there. So maybe me and Justin can head up there one day. But yeah, game changer for us. That's in the works. I want to say within the next year that might be going. So Walden Golf, man, they've been really putting the money where their mouth is. So I really feel good about them, and I can't wait to see, what's next. So yeah, good stuff.
Beautiful. We can't thank you enough for coming on the show today. It's been really great getting to know you and hear about your career. Is there anything else we didn't ask you about that you want to talk about today?
Yeah, man, dude, this is a trip. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Turf Today is proudly brought to you by Better Billy Bunker. From major championship venues to private clubs and municipal courses, golf facilities around the world trust Better Billy Bunker. Easy to install and built to last, Better Billy Bunker delivers the industry's fastest drainage, cleaner sand, less maintenance, and premium playing conditions. Proven at over 2,000 golf courses worldwide, Better Billy Bunker remains the standard for modern bunker construction. For more information, please visit billybunker.com. I won't take up too much of your time here, too much more of your time. I think you've done a great job today, but we would be remiss if we didn't do a live Ask the Agronomist segment while you're here. So we just played the little track that intros the Ask the Agronomist segment. So here we go. This one actually comes in this week from me. And the reason why I'm asking this question is because we've gotten a lot lately kind of like this. And so I tried to put it all into one sort of question to see what you think. So here we go. When you walk onto a golf course late in the summer and a superintendent says, "My turf just doesn't look right," what are the first 3 things you want to know or look at before recommending a product?
Yeah, so great question, Adam, obviously, and, very common for not only on a golf course, right, but even a lot of home lawns right now, especially as they've kind of taken that brunt of the summer. And, I think it's easy. Obviously, we're talking products, so you could always go to, hey, what can I put out there to try to make my turf look a little bit better? But I think before I ever go there as an agronomist, I want to really look at 3 key areas. And those 3 key areas are going to be cultural practices, your plant nutrition, and then what your water management schedule kind of look like. And on the cultural side to start, really what's your mowing height, your rolling frequency look like? And we talked a little bit on previous episodes, right, that can have a big impact on the stress that your turf's undergoing, especially if, you're rolling frequently, you're ultra low height, you're trying to keep championship conditions, all while trying to keep, cool season grass from jumping off a cliff during the summertime. That can all be, definitely challenges that you're creating, if you will, on the cultural side. And then also, what's the top dressing program look like? That's another big, thatch management, especially around cool season and really warm season grasses. That's going to be another factor that I want to look at in that cultural suite. And then the second thing, obviously being a fertilizer guy, would love to know what kind of the spring program up to this point look like. And, most of the time, most people are doing some sort of spoon feeding throughout the summer months, especially on the cool season side, obviously. And then, what potentially, if they are getting clipping yield, how's that corresponding, right? Is that looking the way we would expect it for the fertility levels they're delivering, or is that, more or less than what we'd hope, especially given, the information we already looked at from our top dressing program. So those 2 pieces are really important. And then I think the third one, which just can't ever be underestimated, is obviously the water piece, right? So, is your irrigation system working properly? Is it doing what you think it should be? Are you dealing with localized dry spots in some areas, right? Or is your, overall distribution uniformity pretty solid? And this is more maybe at a hydrophobic level at the soil that we need to address. And I think obviously a lot of things to work through there, but if you can kind of work through those 3 major areas, a lot of times I would almost guess that you're going to find something that you need to tweak to drive the performance you're looking for just in those 3 areas. And sure, would love to be able to recommend a silver bullet, but quite often there isn't really one, right? So, if there's something that you need to tweak, like in the fertility, obviously, absolutely. Or like we talked about hydrophobicity, if you've got, dry spots in some areas, some things you can certainly do for those. So not saying that a product won't end up providing some sort of solution, but most of the time, especially if you look at that holistically through all the summer months and kind of the turf basically surviving the brunt or the worst of it, it's now how can we get it to recover the best through the fall months to get it back, ready where we need it to be? Or is there something fundamentally just broken with kind of our program that we really need to look at and maybe change for the future? So, a lot of times just little tweaks can make some pretty big differences. And, even though the turf looks rough, a lot of times it is, right? Especially like we were talking about, just with this last guest, there's sometimes just no perfect turf for the place that you're growing it at, right? And there's going to be pros to a Bermuda grass green versus a creeping bend grass green. And, one might certainly look, be it the cool season grass, right, in a warm area right now, a lot worse than your Bermuda is. But then in 8 weeks, when they bounce back and the color's great and everybody loves hitting off of bent grass, right, then the Bermuda's going to go gold and everybody's going to either be overseeding or have something to complain about from a color perspective. So, I think that's what I love most about what we do and what we talk about, right? There's a lot of different factors that you got to take into account. And I think, we bring it home, really looking at your whole management program, especially the cultural. That's like I say, we can't sell you cultural. If I could, then we'd obviously be able to make even more money, right? But those are, right? So I can't, I'm going to always try to give those away and leave those with you as a management perspective, because those are things that you can do for free that can usually typically have a pretty big impact before you ever even add something to your budget. So, great question. And let's hold on here for a few more weeks this summer, because we're getting real close to the time where full season at least is going to go on the downhill of the roller coaster for sure.
Yeah, words right out of my mouth. I was going to say the cooler weather is on the horizon. We're almost there. So, and if you're dealing with it, that means that your neighbors or people down the road are probably dealing with it too. And we're all trying to get through it. So, but I love the advice of trying to look at other things first before just throwing a product at it.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, great job with the first ever live Ask the Agronomist segment. We will be back next week with a recorded version of the segment. So thanks so much, Tony.
Awesome, Adam. Well, thanks again for having me on the show this week. And thanks again for all of our listeners and continuing to send in great topics for us to discuss. We really appreciate it. It's a real joy.
We are not done yet, folks. Next guest here, friend of the program, Richard Melko. He is checking in after spending some time working at Gillette Stadium for the FIFA World Cup. So here's Richard.
How's it going?
Not too bad. A little bit of a wet day down at Woods Hole.
Little bit. We started the mow with 0.34 and ended the mow with 0.6. So it was a little damp, but got the job done.
Yeah, that's sometimes it's a perfect turf day, right? You get all the grass cut and then nobody plays golf.
Absolutely. It was supposed to be club championships this whole weekend, so place is dialed.
No.
Yep.
Well, hopefully they're still able to get it in at some point. That'd be good.
I mean, we were ready.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You did your job. So, Richard, happy to have you on the show here for a few minutes. The past couple months have been very busy for you. I just wanted to go over your past experience here at FIFA.
Oh, yeah. Well, I took a little summer vacation from the golf course and was able to work with the team at Gillette Stadium for the quarterfinal week. Morocco versus France.
There you go.
I gotta have the scarf now. I'm officially a soccer guy. I figure that's going to be my midlife crisis. I don't like fast cars and stuff like that. So
getting into soccer.
But yeah, no, it was such an awesome experience. I mean, it really all started like October, November. We had our first initial meeting at Gillette. One of the companies up here, Tom Irwin and Ryan from Gillette Stadium, teamed up and put in like a call out to all of New England Turf, like if anybody would be interested in volunteering to help the team, because they have such a massive complex up there to take care of it all. if anybody was interested, come out, check out the facility for the day, do one of those things and sign up, see what happens. And there was like 250 of us. We all went to the bubble. We walked around, saw the shop. And then anybody that wanted to volunteer got a card, filled out their information. I looked at the dates and I was like, well, that's member guest. That's 4th of July. Let's circle the quarterfinal because it's only one game, which is fine. The other teams were able to do 3 because it was the round robin. So they had more games going on at the stadium. But once we got into like finding our week and everything like that, I was selected for week 3. So we were able to get together one time as all 36 of us. They had friendly at Gillette Stadium between France and Brazil right at the end of March. The sod had gone down. They had a couple games in with the Revs, and it was our first like taste of what it was going to be like, and just the atmosphere, the being on the turf. We all got to walk the pitch and help fix pitch marks and stuff like that. And just seeing it up close was definitely like, I've been near sports my whole life. I've been playing sports my whole life, but like to see it at that level was just crazy. And it was a good taste of what was to come because it wasn't just like, oh, we're going to an exhibition. These guys are like training their whole lives for these moments. They made this team that is like, you have all-stars in their respective leagues that are like not even 4th stringers on their national team. So
crazy
to see the level that high, it was like, all right, it honestly like lit a bit of a fire under me for the rest of my season. Like, I know what I've got, like the level I've got to be at when I go up there to help. So I feel like everything had to be 120% more than the 110 that we normally give. But the summer moved on and everything like that. And my week came, July 5th, we were able to, the 12 of us now. So the 36 of us that were selected were broken down into 3 weeks, 3 12-man teams. And we had like a nice dinner on the 5th and work started on the 6th when we got right into it. I figured being the volunteers, we would be helping out here and there, but it would be like silly stuff like, weeding garden beds and doing all the weed whacking fence lines and the tough stuff so they could focus on what they needed to. But we got thrown like right into it. Like, hey, we're going to go out there. We're going to teach you all how to, line hop. And then everybody's going to get a pass at mowing really quick. Okay, cool. So like day one, you're in the stadium. Like I had totally expected it, but not expected it at the same time. So it was tough not to be like a kid in a candy store and, like just look around and see all of everything that was all the banners and everything like that. It was such an awesome departure from my normal work view, which is like an 11 out of 10 to begin with, because you've seen the pictures and the videos, like it's tough to beat, but then you're in a 65,000 seat stadium with the lights on and they're showing pictures of you on the video board mowing because they're trying to get their cameras dialed in. And like on top of it, knowing my background, spending 20 years in restaurants, like just the hospitality of it all. Like we're mowing a certain pattern for a certain reason because it's going to be shot on TV in a certain way. So they want the stripes to look this way, that way, this way on television. So that's why you're mowing, east to west, then north to south, then east to west, or however the mow was that day. And on top of it, it wasn't just the stadium. Like we got to help out elsewhere. The campus, it houses the Patriots, it hosts the New England Revolution, it hosts the Boston Legacy. So there's fields upon fields that need to be mowed every day and taken care of every day and prepped for the practices that were happening. So it was really, I got a chance to mow with Tom. Shout out Tom. We mowed the practice facility. He showed me on the top field, like, all right, we're going to mow just a normal pattern. And then when we got down to where their new, like the new home of the Patriots, their gym, their new everything, we mowed a game day field. And it was awesome to do, like, just to see how different it was, how it's a lot like block cutting, but it's not like block cutting because you're focused on a couple different things and you're just kind of working your way down the field. We got to see all of the cool grow lights that FIFA brought in, which were huge. We had to tow them away from the stadium a couple days before game day, and they were massive. And just to see the technology that was brought in to make everything consistent, because we all know that's what turf is all about, is getting our consistency. So to see the Dennis mowers, everyone had them. They were so cool. They were so different than what I'm used to. I mean, but it's a walk behind mower, so you know what you're doing, but it was so different to have the bucket that hangs and kind of swings in the front versus something that's more fixed like what I'm used to, and it being twice the size. It was like, all right, cool, you're just going to drive a bus today, you know, like it's not something you normally do. It feels normal, but it's like, oh man, you know, it was just an awesome experience. And then obviously game day itself, you're at the stadium the whole day. You put the mow in, we painted it so you could see it from the moon. I felt like, honestly, I'm biased, but I also watched a lot of the tournament. I really felt like visually on the television that Boston Stadium showed up the best, just striped the best, looked the most like, if you told a sports fan to draw a picture of what a stadium should look like, it would be those colors. You know, it wouldn't be just green, you know. And then being there for the game, watching France move on, standing in basically that half of the stadium for the whole game and enjoying it, just kind of taking a deep breath for a second. But then afterwards, it was, all right, we're going to let everybody clear out. They had a little event right after the game for France's team. And then we were allowed to go out on the field, and they were like, here's a couple of footballs and soccer balls. You earned it. Go out there and have fun. And we were like taking PKs at each other. And then as more and more time went down, like more of the stadium support staff and everybody came down, and we were all out on the field, like taking pictures and, you know, like throwing the football around. And it was just like surreal. Like, not something you would ever expect to do cutting grass, you know? And that's what everybody thinks it really boils down to. But there's so much more to it that my team was people that work with towns and work at tennis facilities and irrigation specialists and people like that. Like, it took a whole unit to pull that together, and it took 36 of us to help that unit execute their huge plan. I mean, they've been planning that for 6-7 years before they even offered any kind of volunteer to anyone, you know? So to see it all come together for all of those groups of people was huge. And then the funny thing is, I mean, obviously turf was coming up right after the game because they had to get the new turf down for the start of the Patriots season and the start of concert season and everything like that. So after we had all of our fun and everything like that, they threw the sprinklers on to clear the field, and we dug all the heads up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were there till like 11 o'clock at night capping heads. Yeah.
Oh man.
But still, I mean, like, I got to run an out route and catch a ball in Boston/Gillette Stadium. Like, if you tell me after I did that, hey, you're going to dig out 3 heads. Yes, sir.
No problem.
Absolutely. Like, I obviously was, taking pictures the whole night, and I sent some of the stuff from the field to my wife as it was happening. And she was like, you look just so happy. And I, like, truthfully, I was like, it was like, every kid's dream. And I got to do it just because I can mow a pretty mean laser.
Yeah, exactly. It almost seems like you're on a movie set, but for turf,
It honestly felt like it, because like, not only was it just the turf, but like being around the boards and all the wiring and how much they had to like, I could only imagine how many miles of cable were around the field, like feet away from the action, because every square inch behind those boards was different cables just running in and out and in and out, and all just walking around the field and seeing the chairs that were there and being like, oh, so that's where the AP is sitting taking all their pictures today. That's sweet. Like, I guess I'll hang out over here near this one, or like going along the side and seeing where all of the different like networks that would be taking in broadcasts, like Telemundo and BN, stuff like that, where all of their people were set up, and like watching them put the nameplates on the stage, like on where the teams would sit. It was just like so interesting to see the stadium aspect. Yeah, there's 15 things happening all at once on a golf course to get everybody to execute at the same time and for our show to start. But it's a team of, I would honestly bet 10,000 people working to get that whole thing together, from grounds to support staff inside the stadium to police and security outside of the stadium to everyone getting you to where you need to be, to your seat. And like, if you really think about the numbers, how many people it takes to get just one of those games on, it blows my mind. Isn't it?
For us to just sit on the couch and turn it on and go, oh yeah, a little soccer.
Right. To watch
like
somebody
so much happen.
Yeah, to watch somebody slide tackle and go, I could have done that.
Yeah. As you drop a chip on the floor.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been great. The only question I kind of had for you was during the game itself. So you mentioned you were on the field. Were you guys ready in case something happened, like a head went or somebody took a huge chunk out of the ground? Or I guess
absolutely.
There's not a lot that happens, but you're ready.
That happened during week 1. Nothing crazy happened during our week, but we were fully prepared for anything. We knew that if anything went wrong, that we had people on both sides of the stadium, so there was access to our shop. There was access to us getting onto the field if and ever. And then during halftime, we were on the field fixing pitch marks and watering in, because the ball likes water on the grass. It's more predictable. I mean, that's one thing. There was just so many things that I learned during this, and that was one of them. Like, I always figured on a golf course, you want dry surface. It's going to be easier to roll. You don't want friction. But then you get to sports and we're watering it in like 5 minutes before the game. I was like, people are going to hate that. But no, it's because they actually want the friction on the ball, so it's more predictable. Like
interesting.
The spins,
it's like watering an infield
like
or something like that.
Right, exactly. So like the ball comes in and it'll spin and it won't turn out. It'll bounce.
Ah, right.
Just not something that I ever thought of coming from the golf turf world, and it's now completely opposite, but works exactly the same.
Yeah.
But,
so cool.
Yeah, no, it was loved doing it. It was an eye-opening experience for sure. It was there was no bunkers. That was pretty cool.
It's helpful. Definitely helpful. Yeah, all flat surfaces.
No undulation, no water. It was awesome.
Nice. Well, was there anything else that you wanted to mention, or anything else you wanted to highlight, or anything else you have going on in your life you wanted to leave us with?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, thanks to all the Ryans in my life, Ryan Walsh, Ryan Bajorn, that's my superintendent, Gillette's superintendent, Drew and Chris and the whole crew over at Gillette, the boys at Tom Irwin, everyone that got this together to make this happen. Thank you again a million times. To week 3, it was awesome to meet everyone on my team, and we've got a group chat that's still going today.
Love that.
I mean, to have 12 dudes still text each other after a month, that's huge.
Yeah, that's great.
But we're talking like trying to meet people up for golf and stuff like that. So it's definitely, I'm glad that I got to meet new friends in the industry and to learn from all of them, and to Woods Hole's membership for pushing me to try new things and learn as much as I can and reach new goals for to bring back to the club, because that's why I do it. I kind of want to show us off, so. Mm-hmm. Other than that, life's cool. I mean, season's going great. It's been a rainy one here on the Cape. But we keep the speeds up.
There you go.
Other than that, it's just been a fun summer. The Greenskeeper, Dan Peterson and I are teaming up. Mm-hmm. We're cooking up, no pun intended, something special. Starting up a little pod, but it'll be more of a travel blog, or maybe restaurant reviews or golf course reviews, or who knows. There's a lot of directions that it's starting to form, but I'm very excited about it. We're very excited about it. It's cool to have like a golf bigger brother that's like teaching me the game and all that, which is cool. Other than that, I'm just trying to think of the next once in a lifetime event that I'm trying to do, because like, how do I top World Cup?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to top. I'm sure you'll figure it out. And you and Dan have something special too. I love your relationship. I'll definitely be tuning into whatever you guys put out. It's a lot of fun. And I'm assuming I'm going to get to see you in New Orleans this year or next year.
Fingers crossed. I mean,
okay.
I would love to. One of my big bucket list courses is TPC Louisiana. Would love to get out there. It's so close to where I used to live. Mm-hmm. I mean, what a better time. I think Mardi Gras is right around that time close. Too. Yeah, so town will be tuned up. I mean,
mm-hmm. How do you say no, right?
Sounds like a road trip.
Yeah, it would have to be a road trip. I know my wife's from down there, so she wants to go and bring the family and see all her relatives and everything, so it might be a big one for us.
There you go. Well, let's work it out. We'll play golf in the middle and then do something on down there. I'm sure we can find something to do.
That'd be perfect, man. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Adam, this has been awesome.
Yeah, buddy, I really appreciate it. I'm sure everyone's going to get a lot out of this too. That experience you went through was incredible, and once in a lifetime too. It's not something anybody ever gets to do, so really cool.
Adam, thank you so much.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Turf Today. Big thanks to Tony, Chad, and Richard for joining us. And before we go, we got to let you know that September 8th is International Thank a Golf Course Superintendent Day. GCSAA is giving everybody a chance to recognize their superintendent and crew for all the work they do behind the scenes. Stay tuned over the next couple of weeks for ways to participate and show your superintendent some love. Thanks for listening, and as always, rate the show, leave us a review, share it with your friends, and we will see you next time. keep those reels sharp.
I can't see the issue. Yeah, believe me, I need to keep myself in line. But I don't need to kiss you. Hey, we can make it tonight, baby, that's just fine. Don't know what I'm doing, feel like I am going crazy. Keep it down. You look good, you know it. I can tell you're soaking up all of it now. Hey, hey, listen to what I say. Let's get to it and we won't tell nobody. Yeah, we won't tell nobody. Hey, hey, listen to what I say. Let's get to it and we won't tell nobody. Yeah, we won't tell nobody. This feeling when you give me those eyes, yeah, baby, you control me, and I need to find your loving, baby. Baby, you on my mind, and I'll give you my body. Don't know what I'm doing, feel like I am going crazy. Keep it down, keep it down. You look good, you know it. I can tell you're soaking up all of it now. Hey, 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 listen to what I say. Let's get to it and we won't tell nobody. Yeah, we won't tell nobody. Hey, hey, listen to what I say. Let's get to it and we won't tell nobody. Yeah, we won't tell nobody. Nobody, yeah, we won't tell nobody. Hey, hey, listen to what I say. Let's get to it and we won't tell nobody. Yeah, we won't tell nobody. Hey, hey, listen to what I say. Let's get to it and we won't tell nobody. Yeah, we won't tell nobody. Nobody.